Hello again. The reality of reincarnation teaches us that life is not a matter of one kick at the cat. And if you messed it up, you burn in hell forever. And if you're a good person, believing in all the doctrines of the churches, or a church for that matter, you've got it made and reap eternal life. Well, life is not really like that. And so I felt in May 1999 compelled to shed a little bit of light on this issue of incarnational possibility. As entities of the universe, we are beings of balance between light and darkness, I wrote. That does not mean that we must at all times be at warfare within our own natures, as the dark side of our makeup is perpetually trying to rule over and dominate the lighted aspect of our beings. Our goal in this contest between light and darkness is to rule over and be a master of negative possibilities of our being, and this is necessary in order for us to grow back into a oneness with all beings of the universe who enjoy life in the fullness of all truth perfected. And so we find that the creation is a split right down the middle in two halves of manifestation. The manifestation of light and the manifestation of darkness as the equal and opposite to light. Our third dimensional world is a world of collision between light and darkness. And that serves the purpose of testing for entities incarnating down here. Their challenge is to learn to rule over and control the darkened aspect of their own selves. If they learn to do that with consistency, they progress in their evolution. If they succumb to the opposite, then future lifetimes will guarantee them time and circumstances to do so. However, these tests are usually severe and very painful. In higher dimensional planes of existence, we find a more pronounced separation between light and darkness, also called the positive and the negative. And therefore, to experience life in an elevated existence of light is spoken of as living in heaven. Keep in mind, though, that each plane of existence has this duality, and therefore we speak of our counterpart to heaven as being hell, reserved to those entities who have elected to experience life, so to speak, in the expression of works of darkness in higher planes of existence. You may have noticed that I have been speaking of light and darkness instead of the value assignment of good and evil. In a universal sense, both are expressions of creative power and equal in terms of consequences. That is why we speak of balance, for there can be no light if there is no darkness, and conversely, there can be no darkness unless there is light. The term sin is a religious creation and does not exist in the vocabularies of higher evolved civilizations on most other planets. And why do I tell you this? The most revered and respected personages of the past have the ability to express themselves in an aspect you may interpret as works of darkness, after perhaps you have mistreated them severely in an earlier life stream. This karma, also called justice, coming back down on your own head for an atrocity committed by yourself against that person. Now put two and two together and combine their natural inclination to do good with their ability to right a wrong of the past. And you may well see character attributes in a man you do not like at all. My advice to you is, let justice rule when it feels it must, and after it has restored its own balance, you will be happy to benefit from the character quality of a highly evolved entity of light in the form of a man by the name of Saddam Hussein. Well, there you have it. Saddam Hussein was, I believe, misunderstood severely in what he was trying to do in Iraq and for the Iraqi people. And so I felt to write an issue on an issue here that few people dare to speak about, and that is the issue of karma and retributive justice, where it may be appropriate, but also with reference to the goodness of the soul of a person that is trying to do the right thing. In other words, to be a blessing to the people that, in this case, Saddam Hussein ruled over in his position as president of Iraq. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you gleaned something from it. If it is a little bit beyond your comprehension because of religious indoctrination of one kind or another, then just read it again and think about it. And you will find that I'm not very far off the mark, if I'm off the mark at all. Thank you very much. Have a good day and a good evening and a good night again. Bye-bye.